Have you wondered if there's an explanation for the upheaval we're witnessing in American culture these past few months? Hi, I'm Rex Rogers, and this is episode number 156 of Discerning What is Best, a podcast applying unchanging biblical principles in a rapidly changing world and a Christian worldview to current issues in everyday life. When I was a teenager and young man, there was a fellow who appeared on television every night whose name was Walter Cronkite. By virtue of his professional endeavors and earned reputation, he was known for years as the most trusted man in America. For 19 years, he was the anchor for the CBS Evening News. And each evening, in his deep baritone, with his famous sign-off, "And that's the way it is." And we believed him. We believed he gave us the truth because we believed in truth, and we trusted his presentation. Now there are no Walter Cronkites, and we're swamped with misinformation and disinformation, politically biased information programs we still call news, and the wall-to-wall angst of social media, cheap fake videos, and AI or artificial intelligence produces deep fake videos, making people say outlandish things they never said, and we no longer believe there is such a thing as truth. In the New Testament, Jesus is put on trial in front of the Roman governor Pontius Pilate, who eventually asks the question, "What is truth?" But he does not hang around long to get an answer. It is an existential question all human beings ask. In the period called modernity, stretching from the Enlightenment to perhaps post-World War II, people asked the question because they believed in truth. They believed it could be researched and discovered, and they believed we could do this using human reason and later science and technology. The 1960s television program Star Trek perfectly presented this worldview, with each episode's problem eventually being resolved by a combination of Captain Kirk's plucky leadership and Mr. Spock's logic. Maybe Captain Kirk would take a risk by going with his gut, but for the most part, emotion played a secondary role, even comic relief, coming from Dr. Bones McCoy's needling of Mr. Spock's rational mind. Just a decade later, the movie Star Wars hit the big screen, and here we're presented with an enormous shift in worldview. While the characters had science and technology, what they relied upon to win their good versus evil morality play was feelings. Now, truth is suspect. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the sort of Christ-like figure who eventually sacrifices himself for the characters and later returns in the spirit to help them, shared with Luke Skywalker what he called truth from a certain point of view. He advises Luke, a fledgling Jedi, to search your feelings, to trust the Force, an energy field that is in all things, including human beings, and a means by which the Jedi can gain power. Not reason, not science, not modernity's search for truth, but now feelings, subjective mind control via the Force, wherein truth is not really knowable. This is postmodernity. When Oprah Winfrey spoke at the 2018 Golden Globe Awards, she said, "Speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have." This is postmodernity. This is the post-truth culture in which we now live. In this view, as in Star Wars, truth is whatever we say it is. Lies then become a way of life. Lies often have a religious-sounding language, like believe in yourself, when Jesus said, "Believe in me." Like follow your heart, when Scripture says the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. Like live your truth, when Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Like I am free to be me, when Jesus said, "If you abide in my word, and you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." For Christians who believe in truth, who believe God is truth, our challenge is greater than ever. Where once, say during the modern period, one could speak to another non-Christian about our belief in truth, and whether they accepted or affirmed or believed as we did, they would at least recognize and generally acknowledge that truth exists. Now in the postmodern, post-truth era of moral relativism, wherein nothing can be known for sure, and the best we can do is, like Oprah, speak of your truth or my truth, which is no truth at all. Now our challenge is to interact with people who not only may not recognize what we say about Scripture because they are biblically illiterate, they likely now do not even acknowledge that anything can be known, that truth is even possible. They are left only with their subjective feelings, uncertainty, and often anxiety. And it gets more complicated because now at least 2 generations of American youth have attended public schools wherein God, truth, morality, purpose, accountability, hope have all been undermined, pulled down, deconstructed, rejected, or destroyed. Gen Z, and maybe also many millennials, no longer are certain about anything, least of all truth. Live your truth versus live the truth, it's a big difference. No God, they say, no truth. No truth, then there's no morality, science, education, law or order or justice or mercy, aesthetics, beauty or art, trust, purpose or vision or aspiration or meaning or achievement, respect for life or individual dignity, civility, freedom. There is only division, confusion, lawlessness, chaos, and insecurity. This is post-truth culture, almost a new dark age. This is America, 2024. America is experiencing Romans 1 come to life. Ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. For although they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Claiming to be wise, they became fools. Our culture's view of freedom is somewhat similar. Freedom is the ability to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and with whomever I want. Each individual becomes his own God, master, and decider of good and evil. But what the culture promotes as freedom is really addiction and indulgence. There is less freedom, and for many, no freedom. But as Christians, truth seekers, truth believers, we know God is truth. We know truth is the unchanging, reliable, ultimate standard by which all things are measured. It's a moral compass, guiding actions and attitudes. Truth cannot be relative. If perceived truth is relative, it is not truth. To say there's no truth for all people is to declare a truth. Truth is inescapable because reality is inescapable. How then do we live in a post-truth culture? Well, number 1, anchor yourself in truth. The gospel is the antidote to a post-truth, post-fact culture. Stand firm then with the belt of truth buckled around your waist. Christianity is based upon objective truth. Jesus died and was resurrected. Number 2, keep your politics in submission to your faith. Politics is important, and it can be influential based upon righteous values. But politics is not a panacea for our problems, primarily because our problems are mainly spiritual, not political. Number 3, we're still called to be salt and light, to be engaged. Number 4, speak the truth in love. Number 5, be prepared to suffer. In 1 Peter, it mentions the word suffering 16 times. If we live as truth tellers, then we can expect pushback. Jesus said, if the world hates you, you know that it has hated me before it hated you. And number 6, believe and demonstrate hope. Our hope comes from outside any system or person because it comes from Christ. Hope is the ultimate antidote to cynicism. In a world that's growing more cynical by the minute, hope is one of the most radical things that you can do. In Roman times, soldiers developed a phrase for conveying their highest commitment when they said goodbye or went into battle. They said to one another, strength and honor, and tapped their chests. Perhaps Christians should develop a phrase that conveys our beliefs. We could say, truth and freedom, and tap our chests. Well, we'll see you again soon. This podcast is about discerning what is best. If you find this thought-provoking and helpful, follow us on your favorite podcast platform and download an episode for your friends. And for more Christian commentary, check my website, REXM as in Martin. It's rexmrogers.com. And remember, it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm.